Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode from Scale Up Thursday series. My name is Rashmita, and I'm the event planner for Microsoft Reactor India. I'm here today joined by our very own host, Vivek, Vinayak, and of course, our special guest speaker, Aman. But before we start the session, I would request you all to read our code of conduct. We are all here to learn together, so please be respectful of other people's views, understanding of differences, being kind and considerate in the way you engage. The chat section is open throughout, and we do encourage you all to participate. Our speaker will answer all your questions during the session, so please feel free to drop all your questions in the chat section. With this, let me bring Vivek into the stream. Hey,
Hey
Vivek.
Rashmita, good morning.
Hey, morning, and
Thank
we meet
you.
again.
Yeah, we meet again and we'll meet again in the evening as well.
Yes,
So
of
this
course.
is good.
This is
So
good.
yeah,
Interesting week.
interesting week for me actually. I'm hosting a couple of sessions today. Again in the evening as well. So do join for that session as well. And it's on the code spaces. Yeah, so welcome back to Scale Up Thursday. As Rashmita mentioned, I'm Vivek. I'm senior cloud advocate. I have Vinayak as well. So I'm bringing in Vinayak. Hello, Vinayak. How are you?
Hi Vivek,
You're on mute.
can you hear me right now?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Hi everyone. My name is Vinayak Hegde and I'm the CT in Residence at Microsoft for Startups. I work very closely with startups to scale out their infrastructure and help them on various aspects of technology, people, processes to be able to scale their business. So that's kind of my role at Microsoft, and I work with the CXOs of the company to help them build out their teams and people and processes. So Vivek, should we get Aman on
Yep,
the
I'm
call
bringing
as
in
well?
Aman. Hello, Aman. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Hi, Vivek. Hi, Vinayak. Pleasure to be here.
I'm super excited to have you on the show, and you know, tell us about your experience, because I see from your LinkedIn profile, right? It's amazing. Um, IITM, and there is a bunch of things which you have done in different industry. In fact, very interesting, and probably for our audience, young audience, and probably if there is a student who is watching this, or if there is somebody who is aspiring to be an entrepreneur, what should be the journey and other things. So Aman, please, give us a brief introduction about you.
Sure, Vivek. So, I'm a graduate from IIT Madras. I did my electrical engineering and I passed out in 2008. Just after college, I joined this company called Schlumberger, which is one of the leading oil field services provider. The motivation to join this company was just to travel the world, right? Being a global company with a footprint in more than 80 countries, that was the lure. So work in places where I did not even knew these places existed, right? So my first assignment was in a place called Nazira in Assam. That's the oldest oil patch in India. And I've spent some time in the oil patches of Rajasthan and Mumbai offshore. Then I went to Qatar, spent some time there. That's also where I met my co-founder Arjun, and then I decided to do a master. So I spent a year in Europe, right? And then in 2016 is when we all came back and we decided to start something on our own based on our learnings from working in the oil field. So all the three founders, right? We have about 30 plus years of combined experience working in the oil field. And what we used to do was work in the operations domain, right? So this is high profile operations where you are extracting the oil, and it's something that we used to do for all these big oil companies like Shell, Chevron, Total, right? Where even a 15 minute of downtime for something not working used to cost 20, $30,000. So very high profile operations. And what we have tried, right? In 2015 when Mr. Modi came in India, it get all our learnings that we had in the oil patch and try to build a global company out of India. Just like the dream of so many other entrepreneurs in India.
True, true. I think that's a interesting career, Raman, because you've spent a lot of time in different industries and specifically from an operations perspective, and I can see why this product as well, because you literally spend time in that field, and that knowledge actually helps you to build a better product out of this, right? So that's the main thing about the careers which we choose, right? And for young people who have joined the session, this is one of the learning for everyone. Cool. So Aman, let's deep dive into the problem statement and basically why did you come up with this solution, and what was the problem, and then we'll go deeper into this.
Yeah, so just I'll give you a quick background about what Syook stands for. Right, so we want to be among the global leaders providing innovative, high-value digital technology solutions for operations excellence. Right, and on our path, we're wanting to partner with organizations and help them on their digital transformation journey. So in the last decade, this term digital transformation has become the buzzword, right? And especially around COVID, it really picked up a lot of pace where companies realized without manpower, right, available at their disposal, digital tools are the way forward. Maintain their competitiveness and even increase their competitive advantage in the market. And so we've built a product that helps people manage their operations. Now, the why of it, I'll go into a bit more detail, right? But this is our footprint as of now. We're largely active in India and exploring Western markets. So Middle East is one place where we're really active and hoping to go into Europe and the US in the next few years. Right. So this is a bit about our founding team. And as I said, all of us come from the oil and gas experience, having worked in different geographies, and that is the experience we are leveraging to build a global IoT platform. Right. So now let's come to this problem statement. Right. So I'll try to do some examples from my work experience. Right. So when we were working in the operations domain, and this is true for anyone who works in the operations domain, which is across sectors, right? Be it manufacturing, be it logistics, be it healthcare, oil and gas, right? People who are managing operations, generally they're tied to their phone, right? Trying to find out what is going on, where are the people, where are the assets, is everything working as per plan or not. If there is something going wrong, then somebody calls them, okay, this thing has gone wrong, right? So working in this chaotic environment, right, the people who are managing operations, their day-to-day job is very stressful, and there is just one root cause for that, right, which is lack of visibility. So generally what you need is information, and you don't have access to that information. You need to seek that information, right? And this is what we have witnessed a lot in our experience also, right? So that is the underlying premise of our solution, right? We want to solve this problem of lack of visibility in operation, make it as possible, because when you have this kind of a problem, it leads to so many other losses for the industry, right, in terms of unsustainable operations. there's a big safety risk, right? Imagine you're in a hazardous environment, which is where we work, right? The oil and gas. And we've all seen probably some of these oil disasters where a blow up happened on a rig, right? So imagine that kind of a disaster scenario happening, and you don't know where your people are, right? So you have an incident. You want to make sure all your people are accounted safely, because that is the first thing that matters, right? Equipment and everything comes later. And in real time, if you have this information available, it will be so much easier for you to be able to account for people and send help and rescue in real time for people who really need it. So there's a big safety risk. There's also non-compliance, right? A lot of compliances need to be managed, and for that, if we are able to generate a good amount of data, we can help them with their compliances also. And when it comes to manpower and assets, there is productivity and utilization angle also, which is something that if you have real-time information, we are able to address and help increase productivity as well as utilization.
Got it. So the thing is there is a lot of challenges in terms of managing uh, the operations within these lot of different companies, specifically logistics, and oil and gas and industries, and uh, it's a stressful job, right? That is the basic thing, right? So there is a bunch of issues in terms of tracking stuff and getting this updated. If something is not working, somebody has to call someone and get all of these things fixed. So that is the main problem you were seeing when you were working in these industries, right?
Correct.
Perfect. So let's go on to the solution. So what was your
Um,
solution to solve this problem? Someone, you there?
Yeah. In terms of the solution, this is where we are, right? Again, the solution kind of reflects what we went through, right? Basically, when we were working in the oil field, we did have this mandatory safety drill, right? So which means you go muster in a specific area, and there will be a person who will take real-time head count, right? And this whole process used to take about 1 hour, and imagine if you're in the middle of Qatar, standing under the sun, right? Spending 1 hour where people are just trying to account for where people are, right? That kind of was the motivation where we thought if we can do this in an automated manner, right? So generally what we do is we try to take any facility and digitize it, right? Which just means creating a digital layout of their floor plan. Generally, customers are able to provide us with some sort of a scaled map, which we then digitize it to look appealing and interesting through our builders. Then what we have is the capability to plot position of where people and assets in real time. This is where our IoT hardware and the software layer starts to mix in. So all the people that we are tracking, everything gets tagged using a tag, everything gets tagged using a tag, W2 or W meter. And then we have our IoT gateway. So these tags are then sending the signal to these IoT devices. IoT gateways, and the gateways then collect all the signal and send it to the servers for location processing. So then all of this information we are able to compute with minimal latency, right? Within 5 to 10 seconds, we are able to get real-time location updates. And somebody might have a question around why non-existing technologies like GPS or why IoT. So maybe something I'll address going forward also, right? A very dynamic and configurable rules engine, which is able to generate in real time any type of a space and time based combination of an alert, right? And I'll give you an example here for people to understand a bit better. So you are having a facility and you want trainees to go hazard safety. Let's say it's an supervision, right? You can set a rule saying trainees should not go into engine room, and then as soon as a trainee goes into an engine room, the system is able to detect that and generate an alert to the supervisor that some unsafe act is happening and they should take proactive actions. So this is where we start adding value for our customers, right? Where instead of being reactive about how things are happening in their operations, because they can set up different kinds of rules and monitor them, they start being proactive. And then probably you're getting copious amounts of time series data. So all of that data is available for analytics for the people, right? Which is then helping them more informed and good decisions about how to optimize their.
Yeah. So basically, you basically taking the facility and mapping that facility, and not just mapping that facility, but also you're mapping the people who are working in that facility, and basically you're tagging them as supervisors and who are they and everything, whether they are junior engineers and other things, and also you are uh, getting those data into one place for visibility perspective. And obviously you have bunch of things to track through IoT and other things, so that you get all the information about that facility, and then you provide that information back to the customer, so that customer is able to handle these operations based on different data which you provided to him. That's what the solution is, right?
Correct.
Got it. Cool. Let's move on, Aman, and to the next set of things.
Also, Aman, quickly, I wanted to. I mean, when we were talking before, I think you are unique among founders. You are, I mean, obviously a CTO and tech person, but I think you came from a non-tech background and you taught yourself to code. So maybe I think I wanted to hear a little bit of that story as well, right? Because it's kind of unusual among entrepreneurs who are solving a business problem to kind of learn, tech on the go. So maybe talk us a little bit of that, because I think it will be inspirational to a lot of people that are here, like who want to learn tech but may not be from a tech background.
Sure, Vinayak. Thank you for bringing that up. I know we had a chat earlier about this, right? So good that you remember. So a bit of history from our background, right? So 2016, we guys come back. We had this idea based on which we wanted to build a product. Obviously, none of us had any technology background in terms of coding or anything. And like all the other entrepreneurs, we heard, okay, SaaS, Bangalore, everything is booming there. So let's set up shop in Bangalore. We come here and we try to find people who can build this thing for us. And for about 3 to 4 months, we struggled a lot because we didn't have full clarity on what the product is going to look like. We had an initial design where we wanted to put into code so that we could quickly validate and put things into motion. But for about 4 months, we struggled to get any traction around this. We had a bootcamp where we learned how to build a web application for about 3 to 4 months. I learned how to build a mobile application also. and we decided, right, it's high time we take matters in our own hands, right? So at about 30 years of age, we are sitting in our boot camps, probably the oldest people in the class. Everyone is in their college, and maybe before that, right? So that's where we started our journey, and we were very grateful for Mr. Aniruddha, who runs a boot camp in Bangalore. Right, and he has been very, very supportive. So in the initial few years, all the hiring that we did for our initial set of engineers was through that boot camp, where people were doing their projects, and you had a startup next to it. It had problems to solve, and we just got people. Okay, come, let's solve this problem. Let's hack this. Let's hack that. Right. That was the initial years, and then for about a year and a half, once the MVP stabilized, I took over as formally as the CTO, and made sure all the tech is being done under my supervision. And so that's the background.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, so I just wanted to bring that aspect out, right? Because it's kind of an unusual story. And one of the things, along with covering tech, we also want to talk about the stories about the people building the tech as well. So yeah, maybe we can just go a little bit deeper into. I mean, we talked about a problem space. Let's talk a little bit about the solution space and how you do what you do at Syook.
Sure. So this is what our platform kind of looks like, right? It's an IoT platform, totally modular in nature, where we have different value propositions for customers. One is curve, which is for worker safety and productivity. Then we have asset management, as well as truck in, truck out, which is for in-plant logistics. Right? It's hardware agnostic. So over the 4 5 years that we've been building this, we started out with the Bluetooth technology, the Bluetooth technology, the main hardware that we used with respect to IoT, but now it is a grad GPS, LoRaWAN, UWB, and it is going to be a totally hardware agnostic platform where you can bring in any kind of IoT hardware and just plug it in, and things should start working seamlessly. It's highly configurable for the user, so they can just configure any kind of use case that they want, and not have to do customization, which if you are in the enterprise space, it's a big challenge for companies to because they get a lot of these customization requests from customers, right? It's very, very flexible, right? So we match up technology hardware landscape, right? So we have Bluetooth based hardware which can work in any kind of environment. If you have a normal indoor environment, all the way to hazardous environments, where you need all these hazardous apps, right? So you need things like explosion proof. So all these certified hardware we are able to onboard. Then we have LAN based, which is like long range IoT. So in 50 meters, right? That's the kind of density generally we need when we do Bluetooth deployments. So if you have large areas like 200, 300 acres, you will not be able to provide so much infrastructure, right? So there we use long range IoT hardware, which is LoRaWAN enabled. We also have a mobile app which can do QR based asset scanning, right, for etc. And we have our GPS based tracking, right? GPS is mostly for geolocation, and all the other places where GPS fails, right? That's where we need these specialized hardware to get micro location data. Right. So in terms of the end use cases, right? This is where we bucket our value proposition for the customers. So they are looking for a connected worker for their safety, which is mostly in hazardous areas like oil and gas, mining, right? Where you want to know your people are working safely. And all these tags that we give them, right? They come with button. So in case somebody is in a dangerous kind of a situation, they are able to see an emergency and somebody reach them in a timely manner. Then we help with the connected worker for sustainability, which is mainly around productivity and time management. And then we are able to do asset management for our customer to be able to track assets utilization across the whole supply chain for them. Right, and these are some of the customers that we are currently working with and in talks with. Right, a lot of them are in India, and we are expanding to Middle East as we speak. Right, so a lot of activity happening in region. We are also heavily partner driven, and Microsoft is the biggest partner to this since we've partnered with Microsoft through the startup program that was about 4 years ago. There are a lot of discussions that we are able to hold with some of the big enterprise customers just because we are partnered with Microsoft and we are able to leverage. So that's a bit about the product, the technology landscape, and our customers. Right? And probably this is where you'd want us to get of next system architecture.
Cool.
Got it.
Yeah, maybe let's talk a little bit about system architecture, and then maybe we can explore, some of the different services that you're using and how you're using them.
Sure. Right. So I'll just walk you through this left to right. Right. So on the leftmost side, we have the hardware. I was mentioning, right? There are different types of hardware we work with. So GPS, which was ubiquitous for does not work very well in indoor facilities, right? If you are in a 12-story building, you want to know on which floor you are. GPS will not be able to give you that information. So that's why we have all these other specialized hardware that we are able to use for micro-location. So we start with Bluetooth. Bluetooth is very simple, right? For a tag, you have a Bluetooth transmitter, and we have our IoT gateways, which are certified with industry-specific certifications like zone certifications, etc. are needed. So we have our own gateways as well as we can leverage third-party gateways, which are off the shelf. These are then connected to our cloud server, and that's where we leverage Azure as a compute engine. We
Mm.
deploy our backend services on a VM, and depending upon the configuration, whether customer wants high availability or things like that, we can configure this whole stack in a different manner. Now, the components
Okay.
of the stack are pretty simple. So we have a Node.js backend engine, right? Our database is MongoDB, and we use Redis as a database cache as well as a parser engine to be able to do messaging between services. Then we have our own location engine, which is written from ground up by me and my team.
Okay.
Right, so this is qualified for a patent for this particular algorithm. And the beauty of this algorithm is it can work in different modes, right? So if you want low density property only tracking, where you know in a rough manner where the people are, all the way to meter level accuracy based on the hardware, where we can do trilateration based computations, right? And then it can ingest both micro location as well as macro location data, the geolocation data. So it's a multimodal location engine that is able to work with very low latencies, about 5 seconds, right, to compute location at scale. And
So,
we have integrations around the back stack. We need different kinds of hardware, like have hardware for HPE, hardware for Cisco, right? So they need a translation layer in the middle. So those services also get hosted on this VM as a single.
so Aman, so as of today, the MongoDB, the cache, the Redis which you mentioned, and all these services which is there, all of them are on VMs and not on any of the past layers as of today, and it's all on VMs, and you're using the containerized approach, right?
Yes.
So what are
So
those?
I'll tell you the main reasons why we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you one of the main reasons why we have chosen this kind of approach for our deployment, right? So, as you know, we work with the large enterprise customers, and a lot of times they end up dictating, or their IT policies end up dictating how our solution needs to be deployed. So, especially in the Middle East, a lot of our customers have already built their data centers, right? And they want all of this to be hosted on their on-prem data center. So when I get those kind of requests, it's very difficult for me to have a SaaS only kind of an architecture that I can seamlessly replicate, right? Where you can approach of having Dockerized images, which we are able to certain VM instance.
So how does that deployment work as well? You have customers asking for deploy it in different code base, right? I mean, like maybe you might even make changes specifically for the customer. So the deployments, how do you manage those deployments as of today?
So we have a very strong automation orchestration, and we have written a lot of scripting to enable all of this, right? In terms of shipping out code to production, we leverage GitLab and GitHub CI/CD actions, right? So any place where we are able to get SSH access, we whitelist our CI/CD pipelines, and that's how we are able to push in an automated manner. There are other places which are like secured areas, like in Africa, where you don't get connectivity that frequently. So we'll have to run these scripts manually. But most of the automation that we have done is using shell scripts.
Got it. Got it. So Vinayak, you have any specific questions on this?
No, I think one thing which was connected to this was, do you deploy the customer's subscription, or do you create like a tenant for them, or is it like complete SaaS? How does that part work?
Yeah, so we have to provide customers with all these kind of features, right? There are some customers who are okay with your typical SaaS. So for that, we have our own subscription across regions, right? Southeast Asia, in India, we do Central India. Then we're setting up a region in Middle East as we speak. So that is where our service gets deployed in a typical SaaS manner, and there we are able to do a lot of these typical SaaS architecture type of deployment subscription. So they request us to provision the VM in that subscription, and they give us access to deploy our services there. So in those cases, code-based security becomes kind of critical for us. So we need to make sure everything is encrypted and properly secure,
Mm.
right? And then you have the third extreme, which is on-prem for customers who are really pedantic about security, right? Like Saudi Aramco, they'll never let us go on a cloud, right? They have enough money, they have enough data centers, so they'll say, come host everything on their data centers. Those are the three main ways in which we are able to manage our deployments.
Cool.
So you, I mean, you did mention about, I mean, I can see that in the architecture as well that uh, you manage cyber security, specifically on the IoT side of it. So how do you do that? I mean, what is, if I have to set it up for a couple of things and a couple of use cases which you can share, um, how does that cyber security thing work?
And also, what are the different
Sure.
aspects of cybersecurity, right? Like, do you have like a firewall, or do you do like active mitigation? What exactly are you doing there?
Sure. So this thing became quite critical for us, since we are our custom piece of equipment that they are going to onboard onto their networking infrastructure. They need to be absolutely sure and certain that nothing is going to go wrong, right? Rather than you going to the extent of setting up a local network only for gateway and that traffic, right? So we did a lot of work on making sure we have a version of our gateway which is cybersecurity certified, right? Because this is not something that we were getting from off-the-shelf gateways that a lot of other companies are manufacturing, right? So with respect to cybersecurity, the first thing we need to lock down is the surface areas, right? With respect to what all surfaces that the gateway is exposing to the network, and make sure some simple things like SSL should not be password enabled. It should only be using TLS encrypted keys, right? 4096 encrypted keys, and making sure the transport layer is secure, and you are able to manage the certificates and maybe even do certificate rotation, right? So we connect the IoT gateways connect to our server over MQTT, which is a very lightweight protocol specially meant for IoT data transmission, right? Where we don't have normal HTTP WebSocket connection like that, right? So then in MQTT, you add a security layer of TLS, right, making it MQTTS. And then we have written a custom service which is built on top of Vault, where we are able to do certificate rotation in an automated manner. Right? So you specify the TTL of the certificate, and the gateway will automatically generate a new certificate, rotation of certificates once every 7 days or 2 weeks or whatever that is. So those are the main aspects of cybersecurity, and we've got it pen tested by multiple agencies, right, to give confidence to our customers that this is something which is secure for them to onboard. And the heart of this gateway is a Raspberry Pi. It's a Linux kernel, and whatever all the cybersecurity related stuff is it's pretty simple because it's a Linux kernel.
Okay. So you mentioned you track people as well, right? So um, do you track them with? I mean, I don't know. I'm just thinking like with IoT devices or GPS. Uh, Aman, I can't hear you.
Yes, so both the options are available, right? Generally, our tracking is for workplace tracking, right? So most of the times it is hello.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
are
we
able
can
to
hear
hear
you,
you.
Aman. We're able to hear you, Aman.
Hello. Perfect.
I
Yeah.
think we are.
Okay. So what I was saying
Yeah,
was, in terms of people tracking, most of the tracking that we have, right? So within the workplaces, generally is an indoor scenario with sometimes leading to outdoors, right? So we have our specialized IoT hardware, and let me just pull that up, right? So it can work both in an indoor and an outdoor scenario. This LoRaWAN based badge that you have, this capability to detect Bluetooth. In case it does not detect Bluetooth, and Bluetooth is what we set up in this scenario, it will switch over to GPS, right? So that hybrid kind of a indoor outdoor location tracking is something that we are able to do.
got it, got it. Perfect. So, Vinayak, you have any specific questions to ask, Aman?
Um, no specific questions, but I think I was just looking at different sets of devices. I think how do they manage the devices? Any updates? Uh, for those kind of over there updates. How does that kind of take place? I think I was interested in that because there can be security vulnerabilities or any kind of challenges managing devices as well, right? So how does that part kind of play in? So I know there's orchestration for the other software, but like, do you have separate orchestration for this? How does that work?
Yes, so where we are with respect to device management is we are able to send remote commands for firmware updates as well as configuration updates, right? So firmware over the air or configuration over the air, we are able to provide. And again, all of this is available in our custom gateway, which we have written the code for, right? We are also leveraging Azure device provisioning and Azure IoT Hub, right, to do this in a more seamless manner, right? So we are on the process of integrating with Azure device provisioning also, which lets you do these firmware changes and configuration changes seamlessly.
Okay, cool.
Got it. We don't have any more questions coming in.
Yeah,
I
so
think we
that's what
can
I was
wait.
going to ask. Yeah, so if there are any questions from the chat, we can take them as well.
Yeah. So we can wait for a minute or two, uh, and let's see if audience have any questions. So if you audience, you can ask questions in the chat, and we will be able to bring it up to Aman. Okay. This uh not yet. Cool. So Aman, thanks for coming in to Scale Up Thursday show and sharing your insights on how you build this company and and very interesting background which you have, and sharing us this different set of things, because it's a very unique product, right? Because there are challenges in terms of updating the devices, there are challenges in managing this, and you have a challenge in deploying this to different customers in different ways. Because uh, we are always assume, as people who are building startups, we assume that we're going to build with SaaS, but again, it depends upon the customers. At the end of the day, customer will ask you to do it in a different way. And pretty interesting use case and pretty interesting solution. And if anybody wants to rewatch it, and if anybody wants to go back and connect with Aman, you can go and connect with Aman on LinkedIn and know more about how they do this, because there are a bunch of challenges they have and they have faced, and they have solved. And if you're a startup, you just need to reach out to Aman. And yeah, Vinayak, thanks for being here. Thank you, Rashmita, for hosting us. Thank you once again, Aman, for joining and sharing your insights on all of these things, building an IoT solution.
So Vivek, yeah. So Vivek, sorry to interrupt you. I think Aman, do you want to show a demo as well? Maybe before we wrap up, because we didn't. We generally do a demo, but we haven't
Sure,
done a
if you have
demo. So yeah, if you have like maybe like 5, 10 minutes, we can
yeah,
still
if you
will
have
do the
time,
demo. Yeah.
I'll quickly showcase them. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yes, please.
I didn't know that you had a demo ready. We lost Aman.
Now we'll wait for a couple of minutes for him to join back for the demo. But I think another thing, actually, Vivek, I think because we are in the oil and gas sector, I think one thing I think we was thinking that we should ask him is also about air gap networks, right? Because many of these oil rigs are also like in offshore platforms or in very remote places, so they may not have the connectivity. So I know that they're taking care of it using Bluetooth and LoRaWAN and other kinds of devices. But eventually, it has to be some amount of connectivity for metering or some kind of updates and other things. So I think what might be interesting is also to talk about that stuff when he's back. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
we
Yeah,
can see your screen share. Yeah.
yeah. So this is what the platform looks like, right? Here you can see there's a bunch of areas that we have onboarded, right? These are different layouts that we have. So you can have your own layout that we can import here. And on a live map, you can see location of people and assets, right? Here, the beauty is everything is getting in very low latency, so 5 to 10 seconds. And you can actually just search for someone instead of trying to go through where they are in a tedious manner. Want to search where is. Yeah. So I can just search for Sydney, and this will show me where Sydney is, right? and I can just find out the exact location of that person. He is in the control room area, right? So this kind of transition you from finding people or finding assets to searching people and searching assets, which is available at the fingertip your users, right? So here we see we have our layout builder, where you can import an image and mark out different areas, and you can then position it in the right position, right? So that's how you do the basic setup for location tracking, right? We onboard different types of hardware, right? So you have BLE based anchor gateways, BLE GPS based anchor gateways. We can do RFID devices, NFC devices. Then you can just have beacons which are giving you the location anchors, right? And then LoRaWAN gateways. So all these hardware can be seamlessly onboarded onto the platform. The same we can do for the routers, right? So we got BLE based routers, LoRaWAN based on BLE only, or as I was mentioning, the hybrid LoRa BLE, which simple as a Q tag, right? Which just has a QR code, and you want to do a asset scan for inventory management. And so it's highly flexible. And then we have other types of hardware from other hardware providers like Coupa or HPE. Right? So very configurable, flexible platform with different types of hardware technologies. In terms of how the user and they get onboarded, we have a very flexible role-based access control, right? So you have different categories of users and different roles that they need to be assigned. You can do that in a very configurable manner. Just are needed, and everything is tweakable. And with respect to user safety and security, we also enable two factor enterprise customers who already have an AD or a login mechanism, right? So we can integrate with their AD using SSO also. So all of this leads to a very configurable user experience, right, where they can just tweak around the platform to do exactly what they want to do. Right, so once all of this is configured, we have a bunch of modules, right? As I was mentioning, management, truck in, truck out, which is with the high value moving assets. So you take a hospital case, you have a defibrillator and a ECG machine, you're not able to find something. So this system helps you very easily locate where are your assets, and you can even do utilization for them, right? And then for people, we have people management and contractor management modules. So here you can see all of these are onboarded. You can have any kind of an entity group and asset class that you can define, right? So again, all of them are being defined by the end user. Right?
Cool.
Then we also
Yes.
have hardware diagnostics that we are able to provide for our hardware.
So, Aman, again, Vinayak had this question. Uh, how do you manage network connectivity in places where these some of these oil and gas industry, or even in the logistic industry, they would have it in very remote places, and you might not have the internet uh, connectivity as good as in the metro cities in other places. So how do you manage that for these devices and rest of the things which you do?
Yeah, so generally, when it comes to remote areas, we prefer setting up a LoRaWAN based network where you can have a base station which is having some backhaul capabilities, and then over a range of 5 to 10 kilometers, right, you are able to place your sensor nodes, right? So
Okay.
that is the most preferred way to be able to do deployments in remote areas where at least some backup, because the server is on the cloud, right? So that connectivity has to be established in a manner, right? Otherwise it becomes challenging, right? Then we also have devices which have offline caching capabilities, so they can cache data for a period of no connectivity. But even so, yeah, this hardware diagnostic is taking a bit of time to load. I'll probably come back right to this. Moving on to the next thing, we have a bunch of add-on functionalities that the customers can leverage, right? Which are specific in nature. We had a module for contact tracing, right? Because we have all this location information, and during the peak of COVID, a lot of factories they were having this risk of shutdowns because of infection being spread. So we were able to do contact tracing scans or contact tracing reports, and they were able to easily isolate people and not go into a shutdown. So you can do location-based heat maps. You can do location-based replay. And just like you have in your CCTV, you can actually see a replay of how things are moving around in the facility. Then there are specific things that are management for their contractors. Somebody said integrate with my biometric attendance system for people when they come in and come out, right? So we did integration with their gate in, gate out systems. Then somebody wanted a full attendance management for their workforce. So we built an attendance management add-on which combines this in and out location information with the location information, right? So you have more granular data of how their work productivity is throughout their working hours. Right? And then we have a bunch of other integrations with, if I talk about very quickly, right? This is the new capability, right? This is where people start off, right? Having sensors like a temperature sensor or a pressure sensor. Bring that data on board and do your time series analysis and have some rules and alerts based on thresholds, right? So we kind of took the opposite approach. This is not something that we started out when we said IoT, because this is already something that a lot of companies are doing, right? And it was highly competitive. We started in an area which is very niche and unique, right? Which is micro location and RTLS. And now we have this adjacency that we are able to add into the platform with respect to sensors, because everything in the platform is already set up, right? So this is just one more add-on that comes. Now you can ingest sensor data, show the sensor or the machine on a map also, so that people have a full visualization, right? And the next phase that we are going to take this to is full-blown digital twin, where you can, and this is something that we're working with Microsoft also, right, to explore the digital twin visualization and capabilities, where you can see a model of your physical assets moving around. You have the machines and their sensor data and everything. You are able to visualize and analyze in a much more streamlined manner.
Got
Cool.
it. Got it. So we are just over time.
Right?
With uh,
Sure.
we we just over time there. But yeah, so this is a great demo, and there's a bunch of things you're collecting, and obviously it is helping the customer. It's pretty interesting product because it has so many things from security to deploying in different ways, and how exactly this works in different scenarios, which is interesting. So Vinayak, you have any final thoughts before we end the show?
No, I think the demo actually gave a sense of what all there is. So we did cover a lot of ground, both in terms of connections of IoT, because IoT devices, especially in oil and gas, is like also remote areas. How so the reliability has to be superb, and things should work with air gap networks and intermittent connectivity. So I think we've got a good idea of how the infrastructure is, and we've seen a very different aspect from a typical SaaS company, or that we do, because I think working with hardware is again especially tricky in terms of reliability as well.
True. Perfect. So thank you, Aman, for being here and sharing insights. And thank you, audience, for joining in. And thanks, Rashmita and Vinayak, for being such a wonderful host. We have one more event today in the evening on specifically on Code Spaces on .NET. That is our Samosa Chai event, and we will catch up there as well. So until then, bye bye. Take care.
Bye everyone. Thanks, Aman. Thanks,